Summary of the most relevant national and international news of the day, here on ICI Noticias Canada. With its presenter Angelica Cifuentes. Speaking at the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland, U.S. President Donald Trump said his country does not need imports of oil, gas, cars, or wood from Canada, emphasizing America's energy and production self-sufficiency. Trump called Canadians very rude in trade negotiations, saying these practices have contributed to a roughly $250 million trade deficit between the United States and Canada. Ontario Premier Doug Ford's government is preparing to enter caretaker mode in anticipation of a snap election in the province. The move means the government will limit its activities to essential functions and avoid making significant policy decisions until an election is held and a new mandate is in place. The decision to consider early elections comes in a complex political context, where factors such as the management of the pandemic, economic issues, and debates over provincial policies have influenced the popularity of the current government. Recent polls indicate a tight competition between the main parties, which could motivate the Ford government to seek a new mandate to consolidate its position. Quebec maple syrup producers are expressing growing concern that U.S. President Donald Trump may impose a 25% tariff on Canadian imports starting February 1, 2025. The move could significantly impact the maple syrup industry, an iconic Quebec product and a key export to the U.S. market. Freeland plans to roll back capital gains tax changes if she becomes Prime Minister. Chrystia Freeland, Canada's former finance minister and candidate for the leadership of the Liberal Party, has announced her intention to roll back the capital gains tax increase if she is elected Prime Minister. This increase, implemented during her tenure as minister, raised the capital gains inclusion rate from 50% to 75%, with the aim of generating additional revenue to fund social programs and infrastructure projects. However, the measure was criticized by investors and business sectors, who argued that it discouraged investment and negatively affected the Canadian financial market. Ottawa immigration cuts will shave 1.7% off GDP over 3 years, PBO. According to a recent report by Canada's Parliamentary Budget Office, PBO, the cuts in immigration levels announced by the federal government could reduce the country's gross domestic product, GDP, by 1.7% over the next 3 years. This decrease is attributed to the reduction in the labor force and lower domestic consumption resulting from a lower influx of immigrants. The Canadian government, led by Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, has decided to reduce the number of permanent residents by 21% by 2025, from 500,000 to 395,000 immigrants. This decision seeks to slow population growth and give provinces time to strengthen their health programs and housing schemes. President Donald Trump has claimed that the U.S. economy can thrive without the need to maintain trade relations with Canada, declaring, "We don't need them." This stance aligns with his recent announcement to impose very serious tariffs against Canada and Mexico, arguing that these countries unfairly benefit from subsidies and are heavily dependent on the U.S. military due to their reduced military forces. IKEA Canada is cutting prices on 550 items. IKEA Canada has announced an additional investment of $50 million to reduce prices on more than 550 products in its catalog. This initiative follows a previous investment of $80 million last year, which allowed prices to be reduced on more than 1,500 items. Subscribe and follow us on our YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook platforms as ICI Noticias Canada, to always be informed with the most important news and in-depth analysis. Thank you for choosing us as your trusted source of information.